Welcome everybody for this Company Fears recast. This time it's a replay of a match between the British forces and the Wehrmacht. And the Wehrmacht player decided to perform an HMG spam. And I already showed you how to deal with that using the US forces. But this time I will show you how to deal with it using the British forces. And with that, let's give it a try. So I already deactivated the Fog of War. And as you can see, I'm going for a rather standard opener with two Zeppers and the 2-1, of course. The Wehrmacht player is going for the 2-1. Two Pioneers, and then I think he's silly going for the first MG. Ah, he's not building sandbags over here. That's something I would recommend for all the fractions, basically. Even more for the Wehrmacht, since the Wehrmacht, if you are playing regular Grants, for instance, they also can build up sandbags, so that's quite a feature for them. Okay, we see the first MG over here. I did build the sandbags over here because I have the natural green cover over here. Maybe it's a good idea to build some sandbags over here facing towards this direction in the east, or towards the east. Yeah, since sometimes people are engaging from over here and then you're still capping here, then you're having green cover. This green cover is not applying for this direction perfectly, because you can cap. Anyway, first MG is deployed. It's seen towards the center of the map. That is something interesting, because I also often do this move. That's often my first move. I consider this position as being a little bit stronger than the position over here. Yeah, because you can shut down a huge area of the map for the enemy. Whereas here you just can defend the victory point in the early game. Okay, here that was not necessarily a mistake of the Wehrmacht player.
An infantry section
To engage with the MG alone. The only major mistake over here was that he engaged very close to this hill over here. And with that he wasn't having the line of sight to scout my section, which was engaging the same way, and this enabled me to cut really close to this MG. Alright, we see the third MG already, and they are doing a great job in pinning my units. I flanked the first MG, but the second MG pinned me over here. The third MG is pinning my Zappa squad. Unfortunately, I'm not retreating it. I don't see why. Oh, now they're going. Great. Okay, so back to the topic. You can do the engagement over here with a single MG, but then you need to make sure that you first walk maybe a little bit more towards this direction and then engage further to point, because otherwise, as I said, you will lack the line of sight, and that is quite dangerous for an MG, as you just saw over here, because I ran straight through the MG, which was still assembling, and then I was able to just repel it. So, what do we see here? The two engineers are engaging in one of my engines. I don't actually know whether two of the Wehrmacht engineers would win against one of the Zeppers, because these are really strong and these are really weak. But he decided not to take the fight, because he wants to wait for his MG. That's a wise move. At the same time, I decided to decap this field point over here, because I thought, yeah, maybe I could get this point, and with that cut him off from all resources. And by the way, I think that it's not working in the near future. Okay, so what did we see on my side? There's a mortar. However, I didn't use the mortar very effectively because it was engaging way too aggressively. I should scout the area with my mainline infantry first, of course. So that was a mistake of me. There's some model drops and a little bit of damage to both MGs, that's nice. And now I'm going for this cutoff, however it's not a cutoff anymore because he's having all these points over here, so...
Territory sector lost, Commander.
Yeah, now I just engage with one section because I would like to have some vision on these MGs so that I can use my indirect fire to fight them a little bit. I think I'll just scout them and then instantly retreat, right? Yes. And heal up, of course. No model drops, no manpower losses, that is good. Alright. There are 5 MGs for the Wehrmacht player, and he
Fuel point is being overrun.
starting to cover huge areas of the map. Over here he will certainly repair me. Over here that is not a bad position, even though this MG obviously can be flanked. As soon as this MG is in position, I think everything is relieved a little bit for the Wehrmacht player. Here again we see how important it is to set up the green cover. Only using the sandbags over here I am able to repair this MG. Even though now it's loading special ammunition and most likely will win the engagement. However, the mortar is doing a good job, and I think this MG is about to die. Yes. So, just 4 MGs left, right? 1, 3, 4. Switch to his position, or his perspective. Okay, yeah, 4 MGs left. Still one of these MGs is about to get away. Yes, right. Okay, so as you can see, now I'm going for more or less early Humber. I think the Humber could come even a little bit more early. Or earlier. But it's still okay to get the Humber in minute 6. And the Humber now, of course, is very repelling these MGs. For the US forces I just spammed lots of riflemen and tried to flank the MGs everywhere, which also worked, but for the British forces I think the sections are just not strong enough to perform these moves, but the Humber is doing a great good job because it's coming early, it's strong repelling infantry, and yeah, the Wehrmacht is not having the best counter for that, since you have to go for either the tier 3 and then go for some Stuks or some anti-tank guns, but the Stuks are coming a little bit later than the Humber. And Jägers first need to be deployed and then need the upgrade with the Shreks. And these can come a little bit late sometimes. Humber usually is earlier. So if you see in the Wehrmacht player performing the MG spam, just rush for the Humber. Do it even faster than I did, then you'll be fine. Alright, that are 5 MGs within his base. 4 MGs, 1 MG is over here. Oh, and I think now he's losing track of the game a little bit because the Humber is overwhelming him. And he sends his MG just to battle without an appropriate counter to the Humber. I mean, the Humber is taking damage from small arms fire. That's something that's not... You should make use of it because it's not weak. The small arm fire. However, now from my perspective again, it's important to go for the scopes. I think that is important for the British Forces Wehrmacht matchup generally, because the scopes are yeah, good option repelling everything a little bit. So it's obviously great in dealing with snipers. It's also great in dealing with Panzer Grenadiers, since Panzer Grenadiers will just wreck your infantry. It's just what they do. But with the scope you can get some model drops from Panzer Grenadiers, and that is strong enough for sections. The scopes are particularly strong in fighting Jägers, because Jägers are quite expensive, and even if the Jägers are having the G43s, the sections with scopes are dangerous for them, so be confident to go for these guys. And of course behind green cover they also can be a threat to MGs, so yeah.
The beggars are threatening
Use
a
the
big
scopes
thing.
against the Wehrmacht. Against the DAK I would still suggest to go for a full boys rifle spam, yes.
We're losing a
Because
munitions
if DAK players are going for DAK meter with Pyre spam opener and then to go for Achterrads, Sturmhaubitzen, Stus, Marders, all this stuff, then you're having quite a hard time if you
The
have
beggars are threatening a
no boys
strategic
rifles.
point.
However, against the Wehrmacht, the scopes are
The
just
enemy
fine.
have taken our territory. Present to the counted for,
So we're having one of these wrecker package,
Sector
Already?
overrun. The enemy has
just 2 sections, but that is just, we are wondering, okay, just 2 sections as a main and infantry, 2 sappers, that a little bit less? Yes it is, but on the other hand I already stolen 2 MGs, so
sappers under fire here.
yeah. I mean you can't build more and more main and infantry, even as you just capped some of the weapons of the enemy. Ooh, look at that. These sappers are really something you don't want to mess with. Wow, that was the long-range retreat kill of death. Okay, where were we? Yeah, okay, the mainline infantry and the support weapons. So I already stole 2 support weapons. That is why I don't go for more and more mainline infantry, because
Jerry has 300 points.
yeah. I thought maybe I will suffer from manpower bleed if I do that, because the enemy is obviously going for the Stuck
Capture point
meter.
is being contested.
At the same time, I'm curious why we are not seeing the Panzer Grenadiers already. Maybe because... No, I don't know. Panzer Grenadiers would be a great choice at the moment. Anyway, he's not building Panzer Grenadiers, but the second Stuck. I mean, Stucks are dealing anti-inf damage. Most likely he wants to upgrade the Stucks with the MG42 machine gun.
We're
And then
losing a
these
victory point to enemy
units are getting very abusive, to be honest. They are good in killing tanks. And they are also good in killing infantry, and their turn rate is super high, so you can't possibly do anything wrong with just building 2 or 3 Stucks, maybe even 4. Anyway, so we are not seeing Panzer Grenadiers, but 2 Stucks. One of these Stucks is already having the MG upgrade. I'm curious what his plan is over here. So, we talked about what to do when you're facing an MG spam. Just go for the Recce package and go for a Humber and go for a mortar. Later on we will see that I will pick a battle group, and I will be going for the British Air and Sea battle group, since these are having access to the Packhauser. Here I'm doing a mistake, by the way. I am using both anti-tank guns at the same spot. That is not too strong, let's say, because they can be easily repelled with some abilities or just be surrounded. Stucks can't be surrounded, they can't be flanked because their turn rate is so high, but anti-tank guns can be flanked. They are more or less in a good spot at the moment. I think Relic did a splendid job on the anti-tank guns so far. And also the MGs are okay-ish now. Maybe they're a little bit too strong. That's why so many people at the moment are performing MG spams. But I think they're fine. Alright, so we have the mortar, we have the Humber. So MGs are not that a big threat anymore. We are having 2 anti-tank guns which are great in fighting the Stucks. Even though, as you see, a bounce. You will see many more bounces, I guess. No! A pen. Incredible. However, you see, this armor composition is quite effective in repelling an MG spam, because, I mean, the map control is awesome for me. Victory points are great as well. And I have everything to fight back the Wehrmacht player. I have to admit that it could be a little bit more difficult if you would go for some Panzer Grenadiers, However, let's switch to his perspective again. He is having 180 manpower, so he's suffering a manpower bleed, I guess because he's mostly relying on the MGs, and that is not too bad per se. However, as soon as you got these counters out, it's not a good choice to go for more MGs. Ooh, they killed the Humber. Now there's a Packhauser. So, the Wehrmacht player could have noticed now that a plane of mine just passed by. And it obviously dropped something, because there are not that many possibilities for British players to use planes that are not fighting. So, for this doctrine, there's just the option to drop either the commando sections, MG sections, or the Packhauser. The other skill planes are for fighting. So the Wehrmacht player could have assumed that I just dropped a Packhauser. Thus, now, at least now, I think it should be a good idea for him to go for Panzer Grenadiers or something else, some mainline infantry that is a little bit more useful than engineers. Anyway, even though he, or even if he would have been going for these Panzer Grenadiers, I think you guys could still be safe with your army composition by just adding one more section and upgrade them with the recce package. I didn't do that at the moment.
This is how it's done. The enemy is down to
But I think as soon as I would have noticed these Panzer Grenadiers, I think I would have been going for another section. Or maybe even another MG. However, I think a section would be the better choice. Maybe in tech for the T4, I already did that, and go for the food cards, because they are also quite strong. Anyway, either way, I think you would be fine with his army composition. I mean, we have to admit that the Wehrmacht player is doing some mistakes. I mean, there are some idle units over here, some questionable engagements like this over here. I mean, it was pretty obvious that something is waiting over here, so I think he should have been engaging with his Stuks first, and then start capping the point. Still, the Wehrmacht player is a very good player, so I think what we are seeing here is
an HMG crew has been lost to enemy action.
not weak. Oh, let's enjoy the recce package a little bit. Look at that. Even though the MG was having 3 models and was already set up, the package immediately downed one of the models and forced the MG into retreat. Isn't that great? That's great, right? And now let's observe 2 anti-tank guns doing the anti-Stuk quest with 2 bounces. Certainly these Stuks will come away, that's sad. Alright, so anyway, what I was talking about is that even though he did some mistakes already, I think he's playing a sturdy build. I mean, he is lacking main infantry, but even though that's the case, he now went for quite a good unit, the Nebelwerfer. That is a good idea, because he already teched his tier 3. And with that he's having free access to the Nebelwerfer. And I mean, my suggestion was to go for some mainline infantry to just scout and surround and flank my MGs now, or my anti-tank guns, or this stuff. He decided to go for the Nebelwerfer. That's also a great choice, because I mean, by now I also have quite a lot of support weapons, and the Nebelwerfer is obviously a good choice in fighting these things. However, you need some reconnaissance for using this unit effectively, and I think since he's having so many MGs, he's lacking this reconnaissance. So yeah, still, I think melee infantry would have been the better choice. Anyway, therefore also works. And I mean, he's having so many MGs that he can do the scouting, I guess. So everything is fine. Well, everything is fine. He has having 60 victory points left, so not quite everything is fine, but
A machine gun has been destroyed.
could be worse, even worse, yes. Okay, look at that. I use my skill planes now. However, I think I used them twice by now, right? However, they didn't deal that much damage.
Enemy forces
The skill
have captured a
planes,
victory point.
can be flanked quite easily since the last patch. Even though Stuks are not the fastest units.
The enemy holds all victory points.
By the way, now, try not to waste your sections against the Wehrmacht. The sections are very, very important. Even though I just had 2, now I think just 1 section is left, right? Yes. Would like to have the sections and try not to do stuff like that over here. I did the mistake now that I, yeah, look at that, all my support weapons are mimicking the mainline infantry for me at the moment. That is certainly a mistake. Try to prevent that all the time. I mean, by now, the game raged on for 20 minutes, and I think both players already became a little bit tired. Still, this is stuff you should prevent.
Take the last 10 points.
However, as you can see, not just the Wehrmacht player was doing some mistakes, but also I did. And even though I did some mistakes, it worked, taking the victory. No, GG, well played. So as we can see, repairing the MG spam with the UK force is also possible. Just rely on a mortar and a Packhauser, and on sections with the Recce upgrade, as well as maybe yeah, the Humber should be used as soon as you notice, okay, the enemy won't have, even though, okay, wait a second, even though your Humber timing is a little bit late, it's still okay to go for it, since, as you notice, for instance, your enemy is going for the tier 3, most Wehrmacht player won't even deploy anti-tank guns, because the Stuks are that overpowered at the moment. So, just feel confident to go for even a late Humber, since against many Wehrmacht players the anti-tank capabilities become a little bit delayed. Because many Wehrmacht players want to go for full abuse with the Stuks. And I mean, that's okay, but you can make use of it. Just go for early light or medium vehicles a little bit more early. Yeah. Recce upgrade for sections, 2 or 3 sections, that would be good. Mortar, maybe a little bit an early mortar. Try not to use it as your mainline infantry, then you will be fine. 2 zappers, of course, are always good for the UK forces, because they can deal a lot of damage in close range, they can flank. They are great. Don't forget the green cover. No. Anti-tank guns. Anti-tank guns are important against the Wehrmacht. Even though, I mean, many people think, okay, Wehrmacht players, the current Wehrmacht meta is to go for Stuks, and Stuks anti-tank, not that much anti-infantry firepower. But that's not true. The Stuks deal a lot of damage against infantry. I think in a later moment of the match, I don't know whether that's expressed correctly, but I think you know what I mean. In a later moment of the match, when my MG was at the northern victory point, you may have noticed that one of the Stuks was engaging it together with the Pioneer, but the Pioneer instantly got pinned and died. But the Stuk then nearly one-shot my MG in green cover. So there you saw the power of the Stuk against infantry. Anyway, I think with this match you saw how to deal with an MG spam with the British forces that are so weak at the moment. Aren't they? Anyway, GG, well played. Thanks for attending, and see you soon.
road so far, takes plenty of gas. But it has class. Martin don't care, he loves it and it's rare. He's never gonna sell it if it takes all his money, 'cause there's help from his love and honey. Taxes are high, the income is low. No more money for vacation to go. No money for beer, no money for wine. But the woman he loves, and is at till 59. But the woman he loves, and is at till 59.